Good morning, everybody. This is Tracy Armstrong, owner operator of North Pittsburgh Greeting Company, the area's premier welcome wagon lady, welcoming all the new homeowners and new businesses to the ever growing, ever popular North Pittsburgh area. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with a dear friend of mine, Jessie Tait, owner of Enspra. It's a wonderful new disinfecting company that helps with COVID and other related issues that you might have for your home or business. And she's going to tell us all about her services today. Hi, Jessie. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning. Doing great. It's a beautiful, warm November day in
It
Western
is.
Pennsylvania.
It is. It is. Somebody tried to put on Christmas music this morning. I'm like, absolutely not. Not with this day. We start to relax. Jesse, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you're married. Tell us a little about yourself. You were formerly in the military, which people truly nowadays need to respect. Please tell us about yourself and what got you from point A to point B in life.
Oh, sure. That's a long, long road. So we'll shorten it up and make it friendly this morning. I'm Jessie. I lived in Pittsburgh for 17 years, almost 18 actually. I moved here after college. Married. My husband owns a local civil engineering and surveying firm here in Pittsburgh. He's been here for about 12 generations. I've been here for 18 years and lived in about 8 different states throughout my life. I grew up military, grew up on Air Force bases, graduated while living on a nuclear military base in North Dakota, which I have not set foot in since I left, since the day after I graduated high school. So here, my career, I started in architectural and engineering consulting and doing lighting design and layout for commercial projects throughout not just the Pittsburgh region, but actually throughout the world. I did a few resorts in Dubai. I did Westinghouse up here. I worked mainly in lighting and in fenestration as well. So a few years ago, I decided that, well, I always knew that I was going to be a business owner. I've always been very entrepreneurial. And I knew that eventually I would work for myself. So I had an investment property that I sold, and I was going to take my profit from that and build a garage. And I said, I'm just going to invest in myself instead. I can park outside for another year or two. And so I took that money and bought a home inspection franchise and went through training to be a home inspector. And I've been doing that for a couple years. And that actually kind of leads us up to the pandemic. Everything was going really well with my company. I was able to build, a pretty big customer base and, in under 2 years. And then the pandemic hit. And so I had to shut my company down. And I wasn't happy about that. I didn't like somebody telling me that I wasn't allowed to work and make money. And so I remodeled everything in my house in the first couple of weeks. And then I was kind of clawing at the walls a bit. And so I was getting into kind of a bad place mentally. And so what I decided to do is what I always do when I'm kind of lost and don't know where to go with my own life. I decided to start volunteering. And I thought if I could do something good for somebody else, maybe something good will eventually happen to me. And so I looked at all my breadth of tools that I own from home inspection and thought, well, what can I do with this? And I had ozone generators, and I use those in homes that are being sold, and we get rid of like some funky odors that some older homes tend to have. So I did some research because I thought, well, if it kills odors, it must kill bacteria. I wonder if this can kill viruses. And so I started reading scientific documentation and reading white papers to find out that, lo and behold, this was actually an approved method back in 2008 during the first SARS virus, which, if you've done any research, COVID is actually a derivative of the SARS virus. And so I was like, bingo, I can do this. So I grabbed my little machines and I went down to the local police department and said, hey, I need to volunteer. I have nothing to do and I'm used to working 12, 14-hour days. Can I volunteer sanitizing your police cars for anybody that's come in contact, anybody that wants them sanitized? And so I started doing that. They were very happy that I was coming down because, nobody else was really going out and treating it in this way. Most of them were treating it chemically. And a lot of the police were actually having some ill effects with their lungs afterwards because there was a lot of misinformation out at the very beginning. And so my one police department here in McCandless turned into 5 police departments, and they started paying me to do this because they wanted me to come in on a regular basis. So I was doing their cars regularly and then as needed when something would actually happen. So that was great. But everybody kept asking me the same question, which was, how long does this last? And I hated my answer because my answer was, well, until an affected person comes in and touches it again. And I didn't like that answer. I didn't think that it was good enough for my community, and it wasn't good enough for the people that protect us. And, at this time as well, all the restaurants, all the stores, all the salons, everybody was shut down. And I didn't like that my fellow business owners didn't have a way of going out and making money. And I knew that they were all kind of in the same mindset as me, mad that we understood why we had to be shut down, but still it's very upsetting, especially when you're in a newer business or you run on kind of a thinner margin. Did you have a question, Tracy?
Oh, no, please.
Oh, sorry. So I started researching, what I can do, what has longer effects. And one of the lieutenants from a police department came back and said, hey, we have a guy in another police department that is using this company that they say their treatment lasts for 60 days. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Maybe I can buy that product and use that integrated into what I'm doing. And so I called the guy, got a hold of the company, and I kind of secret shopped them. And I said, can you tell me what it is that you're using? Because I would like to use, I told them I wanted to see what they were using because I wanted them to come in and treat my business, but I had people with environmental sensitivities. So they gave me the name of the product that they were using, and I went to work researching. And I spent, oh goodness, probably like a week and a half researching this. And I was able to actually get in touch with the chemical manufacturer because I couldn't find any documentation out there in actual sheets aside from just promotional materials that that said that this actually works for 60 days. And so I finally get a hold of the manufacturer, and I was actually put in touch with the team that had created this chemical. And I said, can you please verify or not that this lasts for 60 days? And the response that I got was, well, that was the intention when we created it, but realistically, we get 3 to 4 days. And I was like, wow. And not only that, but they said in an ideal environment.
Oh.
So which was drastically different from what was being put out there to the police, to, everybody else that they are treating, and I won't say who this company is, but it's a very well-known national company. And so I went back to work researching, what I could use. And I found an article on this hospital that said they had a product that they are now using that works for 70 days. And I was like, okay, that's a little more credence because a hospital will do a lot more research than the average consumer. So I figured out who the company was that had manufactured this chemical, and I started stalking them online. And I stalked them very hard for, again, about 2 weeks, and found that I really wasn't getting any response because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everybody's trying to do everything they can. And so I went to LinkedIn and I researched their board of directors and every person that worked at that company. And I found that there was one person that I had a mutual connection with on LinkedIn. I have a pretty decent LinkedIn following. So I have about 6,000 followers on my LinkedIn. So I contacted this person and thought, well, I'll never hear from them. 20 minutes later, he responds, gives me his cell phone. It's actually the medical director for the company, who is very high ranking in the US government. So I end up having this hour-long conversation with this very high up official, and who put me in touch with the president of their company. and I was able to negotiate in a contract. So I now own 4 states, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, and Maryland, with as the partner for this company. And it's not a 70-day product, but it is actually a 90-day product, which is we are CDC recommended. We are FDA food safe. So we treat restaurants in the kitchen areas, and we're EPA registered for 90 days. So for up to 90 days, I should say. So when we go in and treat, we do a full wipe down, a disinfection, and then we actually protect for 90 days on high touch surfaces. So your light switches, your doorknobs, your food surfaces, your tables, chairs, anything that's touched. So that's kind of how I got here.
And that's the birth of your new business, Enspra, correct?
It is. Yep. That's how we came up with Enspra, which I made up the word. As I was trying to find a website that was easy to grab, I was looking up antimicrobial, nano coatings, coating this, biotech this, and everything was taken. And my website was going to be this long, and I wanted something short and sweet. And since it's an environmentally friendly spray, I decided to take that, shorten it, and now we have Enspra.
And now with this COVID epidemic right now, you are seeing, in fact, I was driving up Route 68 going up from Cranberry to Butler, and I saw 2 huge billboards, and that's not a long drive.
Right.
Advertising these new companies. This is a new thing now that people are getting into. What separates Enspra from these other disinfecting companies? Why should somebody pick up the phone and call you, Jessie, owner of Enspra, before they pick up the phone and call one of your competitors?
Sure. So we actually do a lot of things very different than any of these companies out there. And I can tell you that our treatment is extremely specialized. So first off, we do a 3-step treatment. The CDC highly recommends a 3-step treatment over the 1 and sometimes 2-step that the other companies are doing. Most of them are coming in with their brand new electrostatic sprayer backpacks. They're spraying around, walking out, and leaving you with a large bill, right? So yes, on one hand, it is disinfecting, but it's not actually doing the full treatment. So what we do is we do a 3-step. So we come in and we do an actual manual wipe down on the surfaces. What this does is it removes the oils from your finger. It removes all the dust. It removes all of the dead bacteria that's already there. And the really important part of this step is that it gives you a clean surface to work on. Plus, it takes away the food source for the COVID virus. So what people don't realize is even if you spray and it's dead, when that virus lands, you're just giving it a food source. So you're not killing anything going forward. So we do a full wipe down. Then we go through with our electrostatic backpack sprayers, just like everybody else has, and we disinfect and we kill anything that's remaining from the wipe down, right? So we want to make sure that we have a nice, clean, disinfected surface. Our huge difference is that we then go through and do an antimicrobial nano coating on top. That is what is effective for up to 90 days. And what that does is it adheres nanospikes to the surface of everything in the space that we're treating. So it's a hard surface from your countertop to your tables, your light switches, doors, etc. It even protects your soft surfaces. So chairs, whether it's in a waiting room, in a nursing care facility, or whether it's in your own home, it protects for up to 90 days. And what those nanospikes do is when the virus, that virus or any other virus, or bacteria or mold, whenever it touches the surface, the membrane is actually killed, like it's punctured and it kills it on contact. So it's not a chemical kill, which is what many of the other companies are doing. They do a chemical kill, and that chemical is what actually eventually evaporates, erodes, and wears off, where our nanospikes are adhered with a non-leaching, non-migrating covalent bond. The interesting thing, and one of the questions I had when first deciding to work with this company, is what happens when it's exposed to UV? Because as we all know, you leave a shirt out in the sun, it's going to fade. You leave anything out in the sun, degrades it. We have found that UV UV exposure actually further cements the bond of the nanospikes. So it actually ends up lasting a little bit longer. In some cases on low touch, you can actually get 120 days, sometimes even longer, but we don't guarantee it for that long. So we say, as the EPA tells us, that it's up to 90 days. So we typically schedule treatments with our clients. When we treat them once, we go ahead and schedule their next 90-day treatment at that point. And then we give them handouts to send to all their clients. We give them window stickers which show the effective dates and have our website, so that way their clients can go and find this out. So, so that's part of the difference that we do. The other one is the new division of our company that we just launched in the last couple of weeks, and we do efficacy testing. So we now own a mobile lab, and we can go on site and test to see A, if what you're doing is actually effective, and B, further prove that what we're doing is effective. So one of our challenges that we're putting out there to clients, that no matter who you're using, give us a call. We independently will come out and test. You don't have to use our service.
Okay.
But we will come out to see if what you're actually doing is working. I know on average, a restaurant with most of these other companies is, $2,000 to $3,000 to treat one time. And that has to be done basically anytime you have somebody coming in. Ours is about the same price for our 3-step process. So we're actually a very comparably priced, but you're getting 4 additional things that no other company is offering.
Wonderful. And who out there can benefit from your services? I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you, and I mean, if you want my opinion, it would be beneficial. You'd be beneficial in schools, preschools, churches, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yes.
can really benefit from your
Anybody.
service.
We're really trying to target nursing homes right now, senior living facilities, because not only is this effective against COVID, but it's actually effective against every virus, bacteria, and mold out there. So if you've ever had a senior loved one who's been in a to go around, this helps prevent that. I'm sorry, we have a cat situation in the background. It also works against the common flu, against staph infections, MRSA. So we are now working with some school districts, going in and treating, at the very least, their gymnasium areas, locker room areas, where you have that really like skin on skin contact and the bacteria left from that. Super high touch areas, wrestling mats, gym equipment. Hospitals are great for us. We work with some medical doctors. We're doing some dentist offices. But aside from commercial, we also work with homes. So we're working with a lot of residential companies right now, or customers right now. So in one of 2 ways, actually. Number one, we're working with real estate agents so that when you are buying your new home, we can go in and fully disinfect and protect your home, so that when you, your family, and your pets are moving into your new home, you know that it's fresh and it's disinfected, it's clean, and nothing is going to be transferring from the old owner into your new home. The other thing is we work with a lot of very immunocompromised persons. And so what we do is, if somebody's going through chemo or radiation, or somebody's just had a transplant, or they've had, a catastrophic illness, what we do is we go in and we treat their homes, and we treat the homes of any support persons that are coming in. And we also do the vehicles. So that way, when that person has to transfer to and from, they're in a much safer environment, because it helps to protect from, the viruses, from bacteria, from, these molds that are very, very detrimental to somebody with no immune system. And it really does help to create a much cleaner, safer home for you for 90 days. And so years ago, I had a family member that actually had to go and live in a clean home. She was going through extensive treatment, and it was so hard on her mentally to A, be going through this debilitating disease, and B, having to go away from her house so that she could be ensured that she would be safe. And just watching the extra stress that it took on her, the toll that it did for her and her health. She was rehospitalized because her stress levels were just through the roof. And so what we're able to do is to make your home a clean and safe home. And so, even if it's temporary, we help to promote safe and healthy living and help your immune system to grow back as it should. So, we kind of can work with anybody out there, honestly. We have some accounting offices that we work with. There's just so much. We're very open to having a conversation about how we can help you and what's the best course of treatment for your business or your home.
Well, Jessie Tait, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. You're just a wealth of information. I wish you all the luck with your new business, Enspra. Everybody out there, Jessie's actually a friend of mine. She's very trustworthy, has wonderful recommendations from anybody in the area. Her and her husband are a lovely Pittsburgh family. And Jessie, one last time, obviously, everybody, Jessie's website address will be in the comments after this. But Jessie, I am sure there are families watching or small business owners watching that would love to utilize your product. And can you please, once again, tell us your phone number and your website?
Sure. So our phone number is 412-455-5570. And our website is enspra.com, and that is ENSPRA.com.
Fabulous. And Jessie, as always, it was a pleasure to speak with you. I love hanging out with you, and I wish you all the luck in the world. You truly deserve it.
Oh, thanks, Tracy.
Oh, you're welcome. So everybody, this is Tracy Armstrong of North Pittsburgh Greeting Company, the key to making the first impression. Have a great day.
Bye.